What is up, guys? Frankie with Frankie in Japan YouTube channel here. Just chilling, on my iconic roof for a video intro like I used to do years ago. I'm so sorry for the absence. It has been difficult to record videos for financial reasons, and a lot of businesses have been putting up signs where you're saying you're not allowed to record. So it's been really demotivating, and we've been struggling quite a bit. But today I'm really feeling like I want to get back into it. I've been thinking about it a lot, and I do appreciate all the messages from you guys asking me how I've been, where I've been. Such as on Instagram and YouTube comments. It's pretty cool knowing that all these people I don't know physically are thinking about me and concerned about my well-being, and I truly appreciate the support. So today we're going to go jump back into it. Actually, we're going to be visiting a hard off, a book off at least, and then this other store that I really like, which is close to our car dealership, which we have to visit because we need an oil change today anyway. So we usually drop off our car, go for a walk over there, and then they call us and say, oh, it's ready. So yeah, we'll do that. However, to get past this wall of everybody saying no recording nowadays, I think I'm just going to start doing post commentary. So I'm just going to take all this footage and I'm just going to talk about it after the fact. Hopefully that format's okay. It's similar to LGR Thrifts on YouTube. LGR is a cool guy. I like his thrifting videos because he usually gets old retro games. As I mentioned, we're going to a car dealership. That is because we have a car now. So the benefit of that is we can travel wherever we want. And we've gone a lot of places. We've been to Hiroshima, we've been to Osaka, we've driven all the way to Tokyo, and it's been a lot of fun. So the opportunity for visiting new places is there, and having a vehicle is a gigantic win. So yeah, strap in, come along for the ride. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, I apologize for the absence, but let's try this again. And actually, before we get going, I quickly want to show you guys the gaming room we have going on here. It's currently a work in progress, so don't mind the mess. But this is the retro side. Got to get more shelves and all that stuff ready. And this will be the modern gaming side. But I actually renovated this entire room myself. This floor was sunken in about 5 centimeters to the center with tatami, so I had to rip everything off, do the subfloor, and then lay down some new laminate flooring. And then this was all green. There was mold. Had to paint all that. Yeah, so it's really nice in here. Oh yeah, and I built a wall right here because the wall had this metal pillar for support in that back corner, and it was just in the way, so I just pulled the wall forward, which is convenient because this room isn't insulated. It's literally just concrete that's about this thick. So I brought the wall forward, matched it to the depth of the metal post beneath there, but on this corner here, and then put some insulation, so hopefully that helps. And so yeah, we still got a lot of stuff to clean. This is all my handheld games. Those are all my Pokemon games. Speaking of Pokemon games, I live in Japan, so English games are rare, but I found a complete copy of Fire Red for 35,000 yen. Sure, it's not in the best of condition. Like you can see there's scratches. There's a little bit of a crease on the back here. But just to have an original boxed Pokemon American game just makes me so happy. And I literally have all Pokemon games except for English Pokemon Heart Gold. That's the last thing I need, but I do have English Pokemon Soul Silver. I got this complete in box, Pokewalker and everything for 25,000 yen, English. As soon as I seen this, I was at work. I was like, buying it right away. It's got a small rip in the corner here, but the condition is actually fantastic. So I'm excited about that. And then my Pokemon Switch games are there right now. But yeah, that's the game room. It is getting there. 99% of the work is done at this point. It's just setting everything up. So hell yeah. And just so you know, we have 3 cats now. This is Ozzy. He appeared in our driveway one day as a kitten. He's like 6 months old, and he was very sick. I'll throw up an old photo of him, but yeah, after about $1,000 in vet bills, he is now our super happy, vaccinated, well-fed, you can tell by that belly, and fixed boy. He's very vocal. He loves to chat. This is our car, by the way, a 2020 Suzuki Jimny. We are on the road. Of course, Leia's the chaperone, or what do you, the chauffeur. Leia's the chauffeur because she's the one with the license, so yeah. Today we're listening to Architect's newest album. Fantastic album, love it. And this is our small town electronics store. It's got overpriced small amounts of things. Always lots of traffic on this road. Thank goodness we're not going that way. First, we gotta get gas. If you're curious about gas, right now it is 160 yen per liter. We're just doing a full fill. Let's see how much it is. So that's the final. Looks like 4,152 yen. We are at our first location. Leia got us there safely. This is the book off right here. Pretty sure we've been here before in the past for a video, but it's been 2 years, so I don't know what's different. And so to keep attention away from myself, I'm just gonna do recording and then post commentary. So hopefully that'll make things a little easier. And so first thing we got to do is check out the Pokemon toys because that's Leia's favorite thing to do. She found me this Totodile, who is my favorite Pokemon, but that is way too expensive. But for games, first thing we're going to check out is the Super Famicom or Super Nintendo. Lots of good games here. You can see Kirby, Bomberman, Children of Mana, Yoshi's Island, and this is Donkey Kong Country 2, one of my favorite games of all time. Best soundtrack too. Puyo Puyo, I'm pretty sure Leia has this game. I don't know what it is, probably a puzzle game. Dragon Quest, and then Inuyasha. So I've never played an Inuyasha game, but I did like the anime growing up, so I was tempted to buy it, but I decided not to. Next up, we got some PlayStation games, and I believe there's some Sega Saturn there as well. We got Final Fantasy VII International. I have no idea what that is. Lunar Silver Star Story on the Sega Saturn, one of my favorite games growing up on the PlayStation 1, so maybe I'll pick this up, why not? Grandia, I don't know what this is, but it looks like a RPG of some sort, looks pretty cool. Neon Genesis Evangelion, I've never played one of these games, but I do really like the anime as well. I actually just watched it recently for the first time all the way through. And let's move on to the N64 games. We got Wave Racer, Mario Party, Bomberman. Not too much in the way of N64 games here, but there is Donkey Kong 64. You can never go wrong with Donkey Kong 64. Tons of loose games. Next up, let's check out some Game Boy games. Not too much here, but there is a baseball game. Super Mario RPG on the Game Boy Advance, also pretty cool. Some Famicom Dragon Ball. I do own that game, so I don't need it. That Dragon Ball I do not have, but it is pretty rough condition every time I find it, so I passed it up every time. You got Yoshi's Cookie, and yeah, not too much Famicom games here. And of course, we got the loose consoles, so you can get yourself a PS1, or technically PlayStation 1. PS1's a small one. There's some Sega Saturns there. They're all pretty yellowed, so I kind of wanted to pass up on it, although I do really need a Sega Saturn, so I will get one eventually. Of course, cheap Super Famicoms, bins of controllers if you want to look for a decent PlayStation 3 controller. You got some in there in the box. Here's some Xbox games. We got Halo Infinite on the series, Xbox 360 games. That's always awesome to see because you don't see Xbox very often in Japan. We got Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. I never played that one, but I did play the original Vice City, of course. Quite a bit of PlayStation 2 games, some good selection here. And over here we got an RPG called Grandia, I'm pretty sure. I don't know what it is, but it looked pretty cool and it was really cheap, so I decided to pick it up. And of course there's Final Fantasy 13, pretty controversial. There's a Nier game, I didn't know that existed. Demon Souls, some random stuff, I'm not quite sure, some more Final Fantasy. And down here, a copy of Final Fantasy 3 caught my eye. I didn't even know this released on PSP, but I did complete it on DS back in the day. And then down here, I found some .hack games, which I believe are related to an anime that I used to like back in the day. Considering they have .hack in the name, they have to be related, but all 3 volumes are really cheap, so of course I'm going to pick them up. And there's some more Final Fantasy. Actually, there's a lot of Final Fantasy for sale at Book-Offs. It's kind of crazy. And of course, there's a copy of Mega Man here, but Mega Mans are always expensive, so I never wind up picking them up. Lots of PlayStation 5s, random accessories. We got some PlayStation 4s. And then over here at the Switch 2 games, there's Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I pre-ordered and completed. Absolutely loved it. Cyberpunk on Switch 2 actually looks pretty good considering it runs on a Switch 2. And then Donkey Kong Returns, the price of that one's actually getting pretty cheap, so I thought about picking it up, but I already have it on 3DS in English, so I'm not worried about it. And then over at the PS5 games, Leia's a PS5 gamer, so we always go and check these out. Nothing really there that catches my eye because I don't have a PlayStation 5, but feel free to pause and check anything out if you'd like. And then over here we have some 3DS games. Ocarina of Time 3D, of course. Completed that game. Absolutely loved it. Even 20 years ago on the original hardware, too. Some Kirby, Yokai Watch, and then a WarioWare game that Leia, of course, is always interested in. Some more 3DS games. Animal Crossing, of course. I already have the big box version of it, so I don't need that today. And Nintendogs, of course. My first 3DS, or first regular DS game ever. And then here is the stuff inside the glass cabinet. Of course, it's all filled with Pokemon. It was a successful endeavor. I bought some stuff, so I'll show you guys later like usual. Recording the video to do post commentary is actually much better because I don't have to worry about music playing or anything like that, so hopefully it works out. Let me know if you guys are okay with that format. So that is our car dealership, and funny story, so this is called We Cars. However, originally it was known as Big Motor. And when we bought this car, the company was actually going through a scandal where they were committing insurance fraud with their partner company, Sampo or something. And when Leia went to pick up the car the next day, I wasn't there. The guy was showing them everything, you know, how this works, blah, blah, blah. And so he turns on the radio to show us the radio and the screen and all that stuff, and immediately jumps in the story about how they're getting sued for all this insurance fraud. And Leia and Mom and the car dealership, they're just kind of like, oh, awkward.
Yeah.
And then after that scandal, I don't know if the company went bankrupt and got bought out or they just rebranded, but now they are We cars. So yeah, no more big motor. Yeah, usually a guy comes out and then stands awkwardly behind us yelling every 5 seconds like, yep, 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 stop. All right, we have dropped off the car at the We cars here, and it says it'll be about an hour, so we have time to visit another game store, which we do visit often. It's just down the way over there. I'll show you guys. It's like it's a gigantic old bookstore, and there's a separate wing specifically for retro games and manga and stuff. And they're a pretty cool store. They have really good prices too, for the most part. Lovely day for a walk. So that is the main bookstore branch. But right here, that's where, for some reason, retro games are. That's it right there. Apparently there's some sort of discounts going on right now. That happens often. And here's stuff in the glass cabinet. Sorry for the kind of quick movement footage. The dude that ran the store, he was at the cashier just kind of side-eyeing me, and I felt a bit uncomfortable. But here back in the corner, we have some PS2 games. Gran Turismo 3 A-Spec. Absolutely love this game back in the day. Crash Bandicoot. Can never go wrong with that one. And another Grandia, like the one that I picked up earlier, which I haven't seen before either. And I'm just kind of looking around, seeing if anything specifically catches my eye. Here's some PS3 games over here as well. Some pretty cheap ones. Thankfully, PS3 games are always cheap. Dragon Ball Xenoverse, not too bad. A Naruto game. Well, a few of them, actually. Virtua Fighter, never played that. Biohazard, of course. Resident Evil. And here's some PSP games. I'm not sure what that is. It says Dissidia. And here I'm just pulling out random games to check out to see what they are. And of course, Xbox original caught my eye because there's Halo Combat Evolved, a game I used to play immensely on my dad's Xbox. And I used to play Halo 2 multiplayer split screen with my brother all the time. Good times. Man, I'm getting old. There's some Dead or Alive 3. Kind of considering that. And of course, tons of sports shovelware that always winds up in the bin for $1. So I'm not interested in those, but some people are. And if that's your thing, have fun. And Dragon Ball Ultimate Blast. I'm pretty sure that's Ultimate Tenkaichi, a really shitty game I played back in the day. And I changed my mind about Dead or Alive. I decided to pick it up. And now we're looking at the PlayStation games. Tons of random ones. A lot of them I don't really know too well because I didn't grow up with PlayStation. Final Fantasy Collection. I don't know what Final Fantasies are in this, but that's kind of cool. I'm guessing it's like the old Super Nintendo ones. Got some Final Fantasy 8. Tons of One Piece. If you guys like One Piece, I've never played a One Piece game in my life, so I don't know what they're like, but I assume they're a fighting game because that's what the anime is about. And some more Neon Genesis Evangelion. Interesting, but I decided not to pick it up. And here we have SimCity 2000. So now we're going to go look over at the Super Nintendo games, which of course put me in eye shot of the cashier, so I felt uncomfortable. But I tried to do what I could. So there's some Star Fox, some Yoshi's Story, Secret of Mana, I think it is. Secret of Mana, Children of Mana. I think Children of Mana is the DS one. Donkey Kong Country, of course. I love Donkey Kong. Always will, always have. Here's some Game Boy games. Not too much caught my attention, but feel free to pause and check things out if you'd like. Not too much in the way of N64 games, but of course there's the Pokemon Stadium, Zelda Ocarina of Time, which again, like I mentioned earlier, fantastic game. Everybody's completed this if they're my age. And Pilot Wing 64. I've never played the N64 one, but I did play the Super Nintendo one as a kid. Not too much for GameCube, but there is Pikmin. Alright, we got some good stuff. I didn't record in there too much because it was like super freaking quiet. And in Japan, the smartphones have to have a loud beep signal when you enable your camera because weirdos and stuff like that. So it's just dead quiet in there and all you hear is click, click. And I was like, oh my god. So I try to get as much footage as I can, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I got a couple games to show you guys later. Now, we still have probably... Oh, there's another guy recording, I think, over there. Looks like he's got a phone and a selfie stick. Hi. We're gonna go look for something to eat, probably like a convenience store or something, because I don't know what's around, and we don't have a car at the moment, probably for another 45 minutes. So unfortunately, this Family Mart that we're at doesn't have a sitting area, so we're sitting outside on the parking lot thing. But I got a Family Mart chicken and these little wraps. Oh, and a Pepsi, because you don't get Pepsi very often in Japan, so. 763 yen, or about $7 Canadian, or $5 American. I don't know my freedom dollars, but somewhere around there. Onigiri for Leia. These are pretty good. All right, I haven't had a Family Mart chicken in a long time. Let's see how good it is. It is so soft and oily. Oh my gosh. So now we are full with lunch, and now we are going to go grab our car, or at least wait until it's done. It's been about 45 minutes. And by the way, I'm recording on my phone now, but now I have a Pixel 10 Pro XL, and I chucked my GoPro because that thing was a piece of shit. Like, no lies, it kept screwing up and freezing for no reason, so I'm never getting a GoPro again. I'd love to get a DJI Osmo Pocket 3 though, because that one looks fantastic, and the creator set comes with a wireless mic and everything. But that's for the future. My phone's pretty good though. I mean, nowadays smartphone cameras are really pretty superb. I remember back in the day when I had my very first camera phone. I'm in my 30s now, and it recorded like 15 FPS, like 144p video. It was hilarious. We have successfully retrieved our car, and we are on the way to Hardoff next. I like the Hardoff here in Okayama. I like their computer ports and stuff like that, and they always have like junk consoles on the side. I don't know how much junk they are, because it seems like a lot of them would function. They might just be like dirty and they don't want to clean them, but... And we are currently listening to Killswitch Engage's latest album. I actually really love this album. It turned out really well. They never let me down. And we go that way for about 8 minutes. There's the Hardoff. I love Hardoffs. To be honest, I like Hardoffs more than Bookoff because they have much more random electronics, which I am a fan of. And of course, Donkey Kong Bonanza, first thing you see right here at the Nintendo Switch section. And Leia here, of course, pointing me out to Nintendogs because she loves cute animal games. That's one of her things. And there, of course, she's just telling me, no, I don't want it. Too much money. Here we are at the Wii games. There is Pokemon Black and White, Pokepark 2. I don't have it. Leia does, but I need a copy because I'm a Pokemon collector, so I picked it up. And then Mario Kart Wii. I do not have my own copy, and it's only $3, so I'm picking that up as well. And Super Mario Sunshine is in the bin, which is usually more expensive, but for $7.70, I can't go wrong. Luigi's Mansion, I've never played, so I decided to skip. And here's the PlayStation games. Of course, we're here to check out for Leia. There's Crash Bandicoot 4. She has the trilogy, but not number 4. Gran Turismo Sport. We have Battlefield 2042, which is funny enough $3 right now, because I don't think that game did very well. And then, well, Final Fantasy 15, also 330 yen. That's pretty crazy. And then here is Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm always trying to get Leia to pick that up because it's a fantastic game. But of course, she brings me along with this PlayStation All-Stars game because she likes her Battle Royales. And here's some random PS2 games. Nothing specifically caught my eye here, but whenever I see big boxes, I like to pull them out to see what they are. 007. And then, of course, those dot hack games that I bought earlier. And, would you look at this? Dragon Quest 8, which is shockingly cheap, 330 yen. Dragon Quest games are usually always expensive. Got some Rockman or Mega Man. Again, I'm going to pass up because they're just way out of my price range. I'm just focusing on enhancing my collection at the moment, not getting the really expensive games. But one day I will get them. And then here's this Guitar Freaks game that got my attention because we always see this guitar peripheral and we didn't know where it belongs to, but I guess now we do. And then here's the bin of really cheap games. Of course, these are usually just 100 yen or so. Lots of random Final Fantasies, some random games with gigantic kanji characters. I believe Leia plays those. They're kind of like Dynasty Warriors or something. Not quite sure, but Leia likes them. Final Fantasy 13, again, a very controversial game that's always in the budget bin, or for very cheap at the very least. Black Ops 2, which I pre-ordered, absolutely love that. Black Ops 1, I was a Call of Duty kid growing up because I'm in my 30s, so I have a special attachment with those games. And here's another bin, more Final Fantasy. I couldn't help myself. I keep saying Final Fantasy 12 for $1, so I threw it in the bin. Why not? I don't have it, so might as well pick it up. And then tons of sports games, because that's usually where they end up in the dollar bin at Hardoff. Some random horse riding games, which is kind of interesting. I didn't know that there was horse riding games on PlayStation. And here's some Xbox 360 games. Of course, soccer and more sports games. Not my things. I'm going to pass up. But here's Minecraft Xbox 360 edition. Me and my brother used to go to my friend's house and play that on split screen all the time. And some more Rockman. These ones are actually relatively cheap, $5, $15, and then another $10. And here is the shelf full of junk consoles. Some of these don't power on or possibly have broken disc trays. I'm not really interested in picking up any of these at the moment, although there is a Sega Saturn. I will get one of them one day, but not a broken one. And Hardoff is great if you ever need chargers or controllers or audio video cables because they have bins of them for days. They never run out. And all of these usually work. We've purchased about a dozen or so of these controllers, PlayStation 2, Wii, and 64, and they have always been fine. We just give them a scrub down with alcohol and take them apart so they look brand new again. And here I got a Game Boy Advance and GameCube cable, but I don't have the disc, and I think you need a disc to play them, so I didn't bother. But over here we have a nice teal blue GameCube controller. I actually really like that shade, and I'm pretty sure most of us had an orange controller as our second controller. And in this bin here, there was something labeled Game Boy Advance. I don't quite know what it is, but if I had to guess, it's a power brick for an AC adapter if you want to play without batteries. Of course, we got the Dreamcast controller accessory, Pocket Pikachu if you want to have a Pikachu-style Tamagotchi. Always lots of fun. And Leia loves her see-through controller, so every time she finds one, she comes running over and she's like, look at this, it's so cool. And here's some more junk consoles. Xbox 360 is pretty rare to see, but I already have a working one, so I do not need this. Here's some audio-video cables, like I mentioned, if you need them. They're really cheap. And it's funny whenever I see the PlayStation controller without the analog sticks, because it just looks like it's a neutered, man. You need those sticks. And here's the junk consoles behind the glass, and of course that gold Pokemon Center with the Pichu on it. That Game Boy Advance caught my attention. Leia said that just the buttons don't work, like the face buttons, but I don't know if it just needs an isopropyl alcohol clean or maybe just a motherboard swap, but that was pretty tempting. And here are some PlayStation games behind the glass. Pretty interesting to see Dying Light 2 behind there because that game wasn't very good. I completed it anyways because I pre-ordered it, but it was not as good as the original. That Power Glove down there looked really cool though. I do want one of those someday, but only if it works, not when it's junk. And here's some PC peripherals, some motherboards, and I believe that is a water-cooled 2080 Ti right there. But it's in the junk section, so I would never buy a junk GPU. It's either working or it doesn't. And then here's actually the CPU that I have, an R9 5900X, but I don't know why it's 42,000 yen while it's junk. Here's some random tablets, you know, some hard drives, which are great if you need it for like a PlayStation or a GameCube or something like that with a mod. And then here's a bunch of desktop PCs. They're also labeled as junk, but they're usually just Haswell or Skylake era, so we're talking decade-old PCs. I would never bother wasting my money on them at this point. And guitars, of course, I'm a guitarist, so I always got to check these out. And I just noticed in the back while looking at this footage, there's actually a black Jackson Rhodes right there. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, but that is a guitar I would like someday. They're hard to find here in Japan, actually. Jacksons are pretty rare. And I really like the color palette on this keyboard, so I decided to take a video of it. And that, I'm pretty sure, is my keyboard. I got mine in Canada, but here it's called Logicool because a trademark thing in Japan. And here are some functioning consoles behind the glass. We have PlayStation 5s, which are actually going down in price now, finally. And some PlayStation 4s, some Switches, and of course that Pokemon Sword and Shield Switch Lite caught my attention up there. PlayStation Classic is pretty cool. I like the way that it looks, but I don't think the game selection was very good, and the emulation is quite poor, which is why you see them quite often. And these pre-built desktops, by the way, are not worth it. A 9700 and a 2070 Super for essentially $1,000? Hell no. And then here's a bin of CPUs. Most of them are LGA, but there still are some AMD CPUs with pins on them, so just to see them chucked in a bin with plastic kind of makes me cringe, but you know, it is what it is. And for some reason, they're right below the loose Super Famicom and N64 games. Don't know why, but here's also some CPUs in the bag. So these ones are a little bit more premium, but they're still like Skylake or right there. I guess that's Kaby Lake, which is relatively new, but they're still a decade old, so I wouldn't buy these either. You could probably get much better deals on Mercari in Japan. Hard off was successful. We were kind of contemplating getting a 5.1 surround sound system for our TV because the receiver was $100. It's a Pioneer. It's pretty decent. And then a couple 70-watt speakers because it's better than the crap in the TV. There is our destination. I love this book off. Nice blue skies. And the first thing I do when I go to this book off is visit the hardware section because they usually have cheap Game Boys and stuff. 5,000 yen for a good condition functioning one is not that bad. And 4,000 yen for a broken one that you can easily mod into an OLED, which I have two of, is not bad either. And then here's a PSP 2000, but Leia bought me a really good condition boxed 3000 for my birthday, so I don't need that. And here's some really cheap consoles, man. 273 yen for a PlayStation. A Dreamcast, I was tempted to click the button. I don't know why. I just let my intrusive thoughts take over. Halo 4, 270 yen, not too bad. I like the 360 section. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a Call of Duty guy, so whenever I see these games, I'm tempted to pick them up, but I've already got the ones on PS3, so I don't need duplicates. And here, I believe, is Digimon World 4, but I do have it on GameCube, so I don't need it. I was tempted to pick it up, but I talked myself out of it. It was a pretty cool game back in the day. It's a little weird though because it was more like an action RPG. And here we are at the Super Famicom games again. Donkey Kong Country 3, extremely underrated. The music is good, the graphics are good. It just sucks because you have to play that Baby Kong. Dixie was clearly the one that was superior, so you ditched him whenever you could. Donkey Kong Country 1 again, Mario Party 2. I like to check these out just for the condition because if they're good, then I'll pick them up. And Donkey Kong 64, fantastic game, but it's getting pretty expensive. Thankfully, we already have a copy. Here's some games behind the glass. And this game here caught my attention because it's probably illustrated by Akira Toriyama. It's got his very distinctive art style, so I picked it up just for that. And I don't know what this game is, but it was on display. So games like that are usually popular, but I have no idea what it is. And here's Resident Evil or Biohazard, which are always expensive. And Chrono Cross. I don't actually know what this is, but it probably is related to Chrono Trigger. Final Fantasy VII International, some more One Piece games again. And here is the PlayStation 5 games. Leia called me over because she found Monster Hunter Wilds for really cheap, 2,000 yen at the moment, and her best friend's playing it, so she decided to pick it up. And Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero fell off pretty quickly. It's down to 2,700 yen, which is pretty crazy. And Silent Hill F, this is a new game that a lot of people are playing. And this Neo Geo was very tempting, but I do not have essentially $100, so I had to pass. And here we are at the Switch games. Leia's showing me some cute games that she's interested. I'm pretty sure that's Monkey Ball. And Donkey Kong Bonanza again. It's everywhere now because people are finishing it and trading in their copies. And I found the Super Famicom Classic controller for the Wii, which is pretty cool. Leia decided to pick it up because she likes the old style controllers. And here are the Game Boy games. This book off unfortunately doesn't have many of them. This WarioWare game has been sitting here for 3 years. We got some Yoshi's Island. I called it Yoshi's Story, I just realized, but that's actually Yoshi's Island. I love that game too. Some Yu Yu Hakusho, I've already got those, gifted from my sister-in-law actually. Dragon Ball Z games, already got every single one of those, including Hyperdimension. And here's good old SimCity 2000. And of course, all the Pokemon games are hidden behind the glass. What used to be in the bins below for 270 yen a piece, they would literally have stacks of them, are now selling for like 2,000 yen, 3,500 yen for Pokemon Crystal, which is absurd. I'm very glad I got my Pokemon when they were cheaper. And here's the PlayStation 3 games. We got Dark Souls, we got some more Biohazard down there, Biohazard 5 over here, and Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Blast again, which I'm pretty sure was Ultimate Tenkaichi, which I did not like, but I did buy a long time ago. And then Yakuza games I would really like to get into, I just haven't had the time or energy to do so. And Leia showed me this YouTuber's Life game because she's like, you're a YouTuber, this might be cool, but I have no idea what it is. Kind of looks like shovelware in my opinion. And there's Final Fantasy 13 again for really cheap. My best friend said, I hate this game like 15 years ago, but then he ended up trying it again and then he fell in love and absolutely no-lifed it, which is pretty cool. So it's nice that somebody decided to enjoy it in the end. And here I'm just going over the Wii games here. We got Okami. There's a sequel coming out finally. People have been asking for that for over 2 decades at this point. Not a lot of GameCube games, but here's the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. The Explorers of the Sky is getting really expensive. It's up to 8,500 yen now, which is crazy. Of course, Heart Gold's always going to be expensive if it's the big box. And here's just a bunch of DS games. Nothing I'm particularly looking for, although these Bravely Default games are really well regarded, so I'm considering picking it up on Switch too. But the physical edition is a key card, and I'm not a big fan of that, so I'm probably going to skip it. Although if it actually was on the cart, I would have picked it up, so there are some people who don't want those. There's a lot of PlayStation 5s here. I wonder if people are trading them in because they're trying to get the Switch 2, which is unfortunately very expensive now. But yeah, there's a lot of them, pretty shocking, and the prices are actually going down a bit. I also love that purple controller. We are done, and holy crap, it is bright. We got a pretty big haul here. So this is the last stop for the day, so next time we check in with you, we should be at home. We'll show you guys what we got. Alright guys, we are back. Don't mind the mess. Our whole house is under renovations right now. And I'm really sweaty, so don't mind my gristling texture. It's still like 30 degrees in the house, so except for our rooms, which are nice and air conditioned. But I'll show you the games that we got today, and I'll show you the games that Leia got as well, of course. First, I will show you Leia's games. Don't mind the dirty table. This table is in rough condition. She got Fantasy Life for PlayStation 5. It's a game that she was pretty interested in, so she picked it up. Monster Hunter Wilds. She is currently copying this to her system right now because she wants to play this with her best friend. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale on PS3. I've never played this, but I'm assuming it is just a Smash Brothers-like game, but with PlayStation characters. And then I cannot tell you what this is. I have no idea, but she liked it, so she bought it. And then she did also get a junk PlayStation 5 controller, mainly because it has an X button that doesn't properly press. So I'm pretty sure that'd be easy to fix. If it's literally just getting some membranes, then that would be no problem. So I'll take care of that. And then she got this Nintendo Wii Famicom controller, which is pretty cool. So she can play Super Nintendo games on the Wii. And then this is just a charger for the DualSense controllers. And next up, Frankie's games. So I got this game called Grandia. I don't know what it is, but it was cheap. And it kind of looks like a traditional JRPG, maybe action JRPG, I'm not too sure. Pretty cool, so I just decided to get it. Now I also got these dot hack games, volume 1, 2, and 3, mainly because I don't even know these games. I've never played them, but I do remember there was a dot hack anime that I really, really liked when I was younger, but I never really had the means to watch it because I grew up in foster care, so I didn't have a lot of TV access. But I got glimpses of it when I could, and I'm pretty sure it's the same franchise as the anime, dot hack. Not too many things would share that name. So, and then Final Fantasy 12, because it was $1 or 100 yen, so easy pickup. And then I got a couple Xbox games because I do have a complete original Xbox now. Original Halo, Dead or Alive 3, nice and cheap. Oh yeah, Super Mario Maker, another $1 game. I hate when they use these frickin' stickers. I'm gonna have to use my adhesive remover later. Pokepark number 2, black and white, because I don't have this Pokemon game, but I've basically got every Pokemon game at this point. Leia has this in the original one, but she doesn't share, so I need my own. And this game here, PlayStation 1, it says Tobal number 1. Kind of looks like a fighting game, but I got it. It caught my eye because this is clearly Akira Toriyama's art style, unless I'm wrong. Somebody point that out. But that's the creator of Dragon Ball and does the illustrations on Dragon Quest games and Chrono Trigger. That's got to be him. There's no way it's not. And then Lunar Silver Star Story, because for some reason on Sega Saturn this is really cheap. This game's usually expensive. This was 1,100 yen, I believe. This was one of the first long games I ever completed in my entire life when I was younger on PlayStation 1. Absolutely loved it. I would love to revisit it if I can find an English copy. I remember it being a pretty long game. And then Super Mario Sunshine, because this was 700 yen. I don't have my own copy yet, but fantastic game. Mario Kart Wii, because it was another $1 game, so one to fill up my collection. And Dragon Quest 8 on PlayStation 2. Which is interesting because this one is cheap. I can't remember if it was 270 or 480 yen, but usually Dragon Quest games are expensive, so I was surprised how cheap it was. So I had to pick it up. Oh, actually I forgot. I also did get a very clean Dreamcast. This was in their junk section, but I've purchased consoles from this section before and they work just fine. So it might have just been like, I don't want to bother testing this, and they put it on a shelf because there's a few of them. But this one is really clean, so I decided to get it. I don't have the AV cables or anything though, so we will find out if it works in the future. Cross our fingers. So once again, thank you so much for everybody watching. I'm so sorry for my absence. We have been struggling financially, and there have been some personal life stuff going on that has made this sort of thing difficult. And we've still had the chance to go out here and there, but it's difficult when a bunch of these businesses now put up signs that say no filming allowed at all. It's really demotivating. I did make a post on my community page on my YouTube channel, so if you want to read more in depth what's going on, you can check that out. Otherwise, that's it. I don't know the frequency of these videos, but I do want to get back into the grind of making these. The frequency has to be less because before I really tried to get them out every single week, but that became really expensive. And even if I don't go out and buy games, I still have to use gas to go there, and we have to save our gas for things like vet visits and grocery store runs. So we can't just keep driving, well, 50 kilometers to town, because it's at least 50 kilometers to the game stores there and back, or about 60 kilometers total there and back, just to go straight and then come back. So we probably already drove over 100 and something kilometers today, and it does eat away the gas budget. So I don't know the frequency, but I do want to come back. That is my plan. I will continue to make these videos, so please subscribe, please stick around, and I hope you guys look forward to more content in the future. So see you guys later. Peace out.